There are moments in public life when two people who have carefully kept something private decide all at once that the time for privacy has passed. Sunday night at the Royal Festival Hall in London was one of those moments. Actor Paul Mescal and singer Gracie Abrams arrived at the 2026 BAFTA Film Awards side by side, hand in hand, and in doing so answered a question that a significant portion of the entertainment world had been asking quietly for the better part of 2 years. But to understand why this moment carried the weight it did, it helps to go back to where the story actually started. Paul Mescal is 30 years old, Irish, and has spent the last several years becoming one of the most talked-about actors of his generation. He first broke through in the Hulu limited series Normal People in 2020, a role that earned him an Emmy nomination and made him a household name well beyond Ireland. He followed that with a BAFTA win for Aftersun and an Oscar nomination for the same film. More recently, he starred in Gladiator II and the period drama Hamnet, the latter of which earned him a BAFTA nomination this season. Mescal is the kind of actor who generates genuine critical respect alongside significant public attention, a combination that makes his personal life a subject of considerable interest. So when he was first linked to someone new in 2024, people noticed immediately. Gracie Abrams is an American singer and songwriter who has built a substantial following in the years since her debut. She's 25 years old and the daughter of filmmaker J.J. Abrams. Her music tends toward intimate, emotionally candid territory, and she has developed a devoted audience that pays close attention to both her work and her life. When her name began to be connected to Mescal's in 2024, neither of them rushed to confirm or deny anything. They were seen together on a few occasions, but both kept their public statements and their social media largely clear of anything that could be read as an official announcement. That restraint is increasingly rare in an era when celebrity relationships are typically confirmed within days. What was the reason for the caution, and what changed between then and Sunday night? The answer appears to be time and comfort rather than any single turning point. Over the months that followed their initial connection, the two were gradually more visible together without ever making a formal declaration. Then came a series of small but telling public moments. When Hamnet was released and generating significant awards attention, Abrams posted about the film on Instagram in terms that made her personal investment in it unmistakable. She wrote that she had found it nearly impossible to put into words the weight of the film and how it had stayed with her. She called Mescal singular. She told her followers to go see it and said they would be better off for having done so. It was the kind of endorsement that carries a different texture when the person writing it is in a relationship with one of the film's stars. And then, earlier this month, she posted a tribute to Mescal on his 30th birthday. That kind of public gesture, on a milestone occasion, carries its own message even when no caption spells it out directly. But none of that fully prepared their respective fan bases for what happened Sunday. The BAFTA Film Awards are one of the most watched cultural events in Britain, broadcast nationally and covered internationally. The red carpet at the Royal Festival Hall is not a casual outing. It is a documented, photographed, globally streamed moment where everything a person wears, who they arrive with, and how they carry themselves is recorded and analyzed. Mescal wore a black suit. Abrams chose a dark brown gown with a floral pattern. They stood together. They held hands. And they did it in front of every camera pointed at that entrance. For two people who had spent the better part of 2 years keeping things close, this was a deliberate and unambiguous step into the open. Why do that here, and why now? The timing aligns with a period when Mescal is near the top of the awards conversation. Hamnet was among the evening's most discussed films heading in, and while it did not have the dominant night some had predicted, Mescal's work in the film continued to draw serious attention. Being at the BAFTAs was not incidental for him, it was professional. Bringing Abrams as his date to that specific event was a choice that merged his public professional life with his private personal one in a setting that guaranteed maximum visibility. Whether that was a spontaneous decision or a considered one, the effect was the same. The relationship was now on the record in the most visible way possible. Public reaction moved fast, as it tends to when figures with large, engaged followings make moves like this. Mescal has a devoted following that tracks his career closely and has had no shortage of opinions about his personal life over the years. His previous high-profile relationship with singer P.B. Bridgers ended in 2022 after a lengthy engagement. That relationship had also generated significant public interest, and its ending was widely covered. So when his name was first paired with Abrams, some of his audience brought the weight of that history with them. Sunday night's appearance drew immediate and widespread response, ranging from genuine excitement to the kind of protective fan scrutiny that follows any major celebrity pairing. What tends to get lost in those moments is the straightforward human reality underneath the spectacle. Two people who met, kept things to themselves for a while, and then decided they were ready to be seen. That is a fairly ordinary arc. What makes it less ordinary is the scale of the audience watching it unfold and the way every public gesture gets interpreted as a statement. Abrams writing about Hamnet on Instagram was, on its surface, a music artist recommending a film. In context, it was something more. A birthday tribute is a birthday tribute, but the person being celebrated is one of the most photographed actors of his generation. It becomes part of a public record. Sunday night simply made all of that explicit. The BAFTA ceremony itself gave Mescal a setting that was already meaningful to him professionally. Hamnet won the award for Outstanding British Film, and Jessie Buckley, his co-star in the film, took home Best Actress. His own nomination kept him in the conversation for a season that is heading toward the Oscars with several races still genuinely open. Attending the evening with Abrams placed him at one of the most documented nights of his career so far, alongside someone he is now publicly identified as important to him. That combination of professional significance and personal declaration is exactly what makes red carpet moments like this resonate beyond the entertainment press. For Gracie Abrams, the evening represented something different but parallel. She is building a career that stands entirely on its own, with her own audience and her own creative reputation. Appearing at a major film awards ceremony as Mescal's partner places her in a frame that is primarily about him, at least on this particular night. How she navigates that going forward and how both of them manage the increased public attention that tends to follow moments like Sundays will be worth watching. They have shown they are capable of keeping things private when they choose to. Whether they continue to step further into the open or pull back again is entirely their decision. But Sunday night made clear that whatever this is, they are no longer keeping it to themselves.